if you could explain what is the crack?
Hey, the crack.
How can I have the crack? What's the crack?
What is the crack? You are the crack.
Yo, welcome back to Audio Crack. We have a very special guest today, Jake Marsh. Haven't spoken to him in a long time. We're reuniting the green couch. Going to be an amazing episode. We're going to start off with a couple current events, some crazy stories. First off, RFK Jr. just admitted that he left a dead black bear in Central Park like 15 years ago. So RFK Jr. was in upstate New York, and apparently he found a dead black bear, a baby black bear by the side of the road, picked it up, threw it in the back of his van, and left it in Central Park after getting back to the city, after going to dinner with some friends. And he left it next to a bicycle to make people think that a bike hit a black bear in Central Park and killed it. I think he might be the craziest of all three candidates, because his original plan, he said allegedly, was to skin the black bear and then eat the meat of the black bear and keep it in his freezer, which is not that far-fetched for many Americans to hunt, skin, and butcher an animal of any sort. But instead of doing that, RFK, as like a practical joke, left the dead bear in Central Park. And he just admitted to this because he admitted this to the comedian Roseanne Barr, which is just a wild, wild story. I mean, that's kind of like serial killer-ish to just like pick up a dead body and leave it somewhere else. I mean, apparently he claims that another person hit the bear, but, you know, the only person who throws a body in the back of their car is someone who actually hit the body. Like, not too many people are collecting fresh roadkill if they didn't have something to do with it. I don't know about you guys, but people do that. But just crazy story that he admitted to today. So Noah Lyles apparently offended a lot of the NBA players because he was basically saying that an NBA championship is not a world championship. So then apparently the whole Team USA basketball team went to go watch his race, basically just being pro haters on their own, technically teammate, because he said that an NBA championship is not a world championship, quote unquote. Don't get me wrong, I love the US at times, but that ain't the world. We are the world. So talking about the Olympics. But he backed it up. He won his races. He won the 100 meter, but apparently they're also hoping that he loses the 200 meter. So it's kind of crazy when you have basically the best basketball players in the world on Team USA just wishing on your downfall. So, I mean, ridiculous set of circumstances. I don't think we have any, like, it's been a pretty slow news week. Hasn't been much crazy stuff happening because it's the summer. But football season's coming up. It's going to be dope. But those were the two stories that sort of stood out to me. And we're going to get into Jake Marsh. We now welcome on a very special guest, my couch partner for many years. We have Jake Marsh. Jake, thank you so much for hopping on such short notice.
Of course. Thank you for having me, Billy. I know the AWLs will love this little reunion of the Green Couch Bros on Audio Crack. It's still in the Chicago office. Every time I pass it, I say, that's Billy and I's Green Couch.
Where do they put it in the office?
It's a lot of good memories. It's near the macro dosing studio where all like those newspaper front pages are. You know what I'm talking about?
Does it still have it's
right under
two
there.
Cans of paint?
Of course. There's no other way for it to stay up.
That's wild. It's crazy to see that we were working out of that tiny studio with just like so much makeshift like stuff holding it together. And the new studio is just insane. But you know, those were the times. How is the transition from the old studio to the new studio being in it?
Yeah, it was very different. Like you said, in New York for the 4 years I was there, it was just one square room where everyone was pretty much shoulder to shoulder. But here it's just a massive machine. Basically, we have behind the glass. When I was there were three of us behind the glass, and Big Cotton, PFT, and Hank talking to them through the microphones. It's just cool to see when we were with the show towards the beginning portion of it, how fast and how much they've grown over the years.
Yeah. So, you know, a lot of change happening in your life right now. What was amazing to see is how many job offers did you get after announcing you're going? I mean, PLL, golf, like that's why you play the game. Like how that must have been really awesome. Like once you announced, and how long did you know?
Yeah, for sure. It was an overwhelming period. It still is. But Big Cat, PFT, and I, and Hank, we had a sit down conversation. I want to say towards the end of February, just about like my future and the direction that everything's going in. And we both agreed that it was time for me to make the jump to broadcasting full time. And it was hard. It was hard to process because 5 years on the show, as you know, you spent a similar amount of time. It's a lot because you have this routine where every Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, we're recording.
Yeah.
And Sunday nights, obviously, now too, like on the other side, Sunday nights are crazy.
What are you doing with your spare time nowadays?
No, I haven't had much spare time. Like you said, I've been busy with the PLL. I've had a handful of PGA Tour events. Hopefully this football season, some things come up. Same with college basketball, but the support was overwhelming. It was really cool to see. I owe those guys everything. I mean, I know in the same boat. Without Big Cat, PFT, and Hank taking a chance on both of us,
yeah,
who knows where we'd be right now. Yeah. It really is crazy to think. And I'm very fortunate for the opportunity. It was a heck of a ride. But I think going into broadcasting full time at this time was the right move. And I'm happy with how things have turned out so far. But of course I miss them, but this next chapter is off to a good start, I think.
No, I mean, it kind of, it sucks. Like not, you go talk to them every day for such a long time and then you sort of stop. And after like a couple, weeks, it's kind of like, fuck, like I kind of, back when it was like a job and you're doing it every day, like, it's not that you're sort of getting to the point where like, shit, I want to talk football. Like I used to talk football all day, every day. And now I'm not. Like, I want to talk football again. Like, I want to, that's why I sort of started this show. Cause I was like, fuck, I've been talking into a mic. I was doing it 5 times a week at one point, like probably like 10 hours a week of podcasting. And then you go to 0. And I don't know, how's that been for you?
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, like I think the biggest change so far has been the difference in routine because for 4 years, 5 years, we had that routine where 3 days a week. We know after the act, we're most likely recording. Sunday nights, we know to hold off on any other plans because we're working. Yeah. But since then, like I said, I've been lucky to have a couple of PGA events, PLL, so some basketball with TBT. I've been traveling the country. I've been all over the place. When's this dropping?
This will probably be dropping tonight or tomorrow morning.
Oh, really? So I have a lot of travels still to come. And it's just like a crazy, crazy transition and a different phase of my life. And similar to you, I had 1 year at Vermont and then I started with PMT in my adult life. That's all it's been. So it's just crazy that I'm just trying to figure it out. Life is not simple. There's no simple path. And I'm just looking forward to what comes next.
What are you doing with your Sunday nights nowadays?
Sunday nights. I mean, some of them just hanging out, just like the rest of the country. Just
fun Sundays.
Oh, you know it. Yeah. Just anticipating the Monday release of Part of My Take, of course.
Sundays were fun, but it's just like sometimes you can just go out on a Sunday. Like that was something like that most people are like, oh, if I want to go out on Sunday, I can. Like, no, we were in the studio late night.
Yeah. I can't say I've gone out on a Sunday since moving on from the show, but Sunday twilight tea times.
Yeah.
That's the thing I've taken advantage of, especially this time of year. And, yeah, so we'll see what happens.
I mean, so did you say you're going to be working for TBT? Is that the 3-on-3 league?
That's not the 3-on-3. It actually just finished. It's the basketball tournament. Barcelona actually had a team the first year of it. It's the $1 million tournament where a bunch of alumni teams enter, and basically anyone can really enter. And there's a bunch of former pros. Yeah, Dave and Big Cat, one of their like OG.
The purple starfish? Yeah,
yes, yeah. That was the first year of that. And I got to call 4 games, 2 of them at Rupp Arena in Kentucky, 2 in Dayton. So It was a lot of fun.
How are the PLL events going? I mean, the dogs look terrible.
The dogs are officially eliminated from playoff contention, and there's still 2 or 3 weeks
I know.
left.
I think that they went 1-7.
You know what it is? They went to Philly. They slapped Philadelphia on their team name, and Max brings the bad juju. But the good news is they can't finish in second place this year. So that's glass half full mentality. But it was fun. It was my first time doing sidelines for them. Obviously, play-by-play is my bread and butter, but I had never done sideline reporting for lacrosse before. I did some in college for football, but it was cool just developing the relationships with the players and coaches. There was a cool moment during my first game. Marcus Holman, one of the best players in the league on the Boston Cannons, he gave me a shout out live on the air, like thanking me or congratulating me for my run on part of my take, which was
He's a bro.
Pretty surreal.
No, Marcus.
Yeah, he is a
Marcus
bro.
is a dude.
Yeah, he's a nice guy, great player. So that was really cool. So it was a nice little change of pace. And then for the All-Star game, I got to work with my college friend, Drew Carter, which was really cool. He was in the booth calling the game and I was sidelined. So that was kind of a awesome full circle moment to go through just 6 years after graduating.
I mean, so what is your biggest aim the next year? What's your big goal? Do you want to like announce like a primetime college football game? Like where?
Yeah, I mean,
what is like the next step, you think?
Yeah, I think the next primetime college football this season is not going to happen, but I'm trying to get my foot in the door with these networks to just work my way up and prove myself and show that I have what it takes. I have the skill, I have the talent, and I have everything that a broadcaster needs to call games on national television. And I just put out my newest demo reel last week.
Sizzle reel. You're basically like basically an athlete. You're basically like the way.
Does it look like your high school Billy football highlights?
So like that. You're basically an athlete. You're just sending out your tape, trying to get picked up. It's actually like now that it's full time for you, then you can fully focus on it. Like there's nothing but green grass and high tides. Like with your 100% focus on it. So that must have been sort of liberating in a way.
That's literally what I'm doing. I'm sending emails. I'm making phone calls. I'm trying to find people who are willing to give me a chance. And I think the new demo reel will hopefully help. And, I said this on my last episode of PMT, but obviously I was very conscious of my reputation and not wanting to curse on the air, do the Ray Allen tweet. And it was all for moments like this where I can approach these people. And yes, while I was part of a show that was a lot of fun, obviously there were some inappropriate, little phases you could say, but I just wanted to make it clear that as dedicated and as loyal as I was to the show, I also had the long term in mind, and I'm ready for this. And I just hope to get a chance one day in the next few weeks or months.
I ran for Congress. And I was thinking they're going to pull out the craziest shit on me. And the only stuff they pulled on me was like pretty much bulletproof, dude. Like we've been in the public eye for like 5 years. Like and everything it's not a surprise to anyone, some of the hijinks. So that's almost like freeing in itself. So I don't think you're ever going to get caught down the line with something ridiculous. I mean,
yeah, no, I have no regrets about my time there. Obviously, the peer pressure was there at some points, but those guys are the best, and I owe them everything.
It was so fun. I mean, it was such a great time. Where are you living now?
I'm back in Florida. I'm in Florida for the first time since high school, living there, which is kind of crazy. But I've been traveling a lot. Still a few stops in New York. Have some friends and family there.
Did you pay Florida income tax for all your gigs?
I've gotten the full. I have to put some money aside.
Yeah.
I forget the specifics of it.
But for federal taxes, dude, the jock tax
I don't know,
might not apply to you.
Yeah, I know. I'm
So like
some stuff. I don't know if this should be discussed publicly.
But dude, the jock tax doesn't apply to you because you're not an athlete, but you still you don't have to pay taxes in every state that you announce it. So you could just.
Well, you have to pay tax. You have to pay taxes, just not state tax.
Right.
Yeah.
Sneaky. That's awesome.
Low key. Yeah. Low key.
But So your golf game's going good. I've seen a lot of your golf videos.
Yeah, golf game is getting better. I'm down to a 13.3 at the time of this recording. I don't know if you understand how that works,
No.
but I used to be, my goal used to be break 100 this time last year. Now it's, if I'm over 95, I'm not happy with myself. I actually had my best 9-hole stretch of my life with Hank at the Barstool Classic at the Glen Club right before I moved out. I shot a 39 on the back 9 at the Glen Club, which was, it was the best feeling.
So now that it's
besides the
now
hole
that's
in one.
all past, did you actually get the hole in one?
Yes. You think I would lie, Billy?
No. I just
That was your role.
well, do you believe
I'm
Riggs got a
kidding.
hole in one?
Yeah. Why would he lie about it?
I don't know. I mean, it's big in the content world to get a hole in ones nowadays.
Yeah.
No, but
Fair enough.
so I mean, what else have you been getting up to?
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to have a broadcasting gig every weekend in July, and then I have the FedEx Cup, the first round of the FedEx Cup, the St. Jude, and next weekend, top 70 players. Our guy Max Homo will be in it, and then the week after that, I have something called the Creator Classic, where it's going to be 16 golf content creators playing the last 9 holes at East Lake, which is in Atlanta. Good, Dude Perfect will be in it. Bob Does Sports. So a lot of big names in the golf YouTube world will be playing, and I'll be calling it with Mark Immelman.
Who was the biggest name to you when you were on PMT to see him in person where you're like, oh my God?
That we met? Well, a lot of like the A-list celebrities that came on the show were all via Zoom.
Yeah.
But in terms of guys we met, I don't know, JJ Watt knowing my name as I went up to introduce myself to him, that was pretty surreal.
Yeah.
Just knowing that he knows me, like a future Hall of Famer. I love Max Homa. I think the coolest full circle moment I've had in, honestly, my career so far is calling Max Homa's 213-yard eagle at the Wells Fargo Championship.
Oh, sick.
Just because of the relationship I have with him via Part of My Take. It was just really cool. Like, that's a truly once in a lifetime opportunity. I feel like that type of shot with Max Homa, and I had the chance to call it. It was just really cool knowing just like the friendship we've built and the relationship over the last few years together.
Yeah, I think like the JJ Watt knowing who we were blew my mind, but then also Jared Goff walking out of the interview when we were at training camp, just being like, "Yo, Billy, what's up?" I'm like, "Oh fuck, dude!" Like,
yeah. First overall pick.
I was like, "Holy shit, dude! You know what the hell?" But that was just, it's so weird. It was such a crazy experience because in the moment, it just felt like your job every day, and you're just in 4 walls, and like you never really thought what was happening in those 4 walls were going anywhere. Like Twitter was one thing because it just seemed like it was in the same universe. Like it was like responding to emails, like in work, like, like, hey, this is your thought on this. But it's crazy just how much it was out there. And do you think we make the Part of My Take movie?
I don't know. I mean, Big Cat and PFT, they always joke like you can't tell the story of blank without blank. I think you can tell the story of Part of My Take without us. They're the guys who started it. It's all about them and Hank. They're the OG 3. But I think we could get maybe supporting roles or at least a cameo.
I'm not saying like a documentary, like us getting interviewed, but like, do you think there's going to be actors playing us in a movie in like 20 years? If there is a movie,
what's the plot?
I think the plot is just like
the
podcast. I don't know. What would the plot be for a Part of My Take movie?
Well, a plot needs a conflict. So what's the conflict? Maybe like a hot sauce cheesesteak controversy?
No, maybe, I mean, probably the ESPN stuff. I don't know. Maybe the story hasn't been.
I don't know where I'd fit into that.
Yeah, I think the story hasn't been finished.
not finished.
So we can't.
Exactly. But no, those guys, obviously, we're both fortunate that they let us to be a part of their mammoth of a platform for all these years. But I can't wait to see things. They're on Grit Week right now. It's weird not being on Grit Week. It feels like, I mean, I don't know if this is relatable to a lot of the listeners, but it feels like the first year after you're too old to go to sleepaway camp, seeing all the pictures and videos from that sleepaway camp, being like, damn, I'm not there anymore.
Yeah. The FOMO is real. It's hard for me to listen to Part of My Take because I just get FOMO.
I still listen. Well, to be fair, I'm still working for the company and writing blogs for PMT. So I still have to be in the loop and I want to be in the loop. But obviously I'm not there on a day to day.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Of course. Is there anything else you want to say to the listeners? You can hit me with some questions.
I have a question for you. How was your Saturday?
My Saturday was great. The whole dynamic of your weekend changes when you don't have to rush back on Sunday. So the Saturdays are sweeter.
But, yeah, of course, that was a callback joke to the Ryan Whitney interview a few years ago.
What's crazy is that that Ryan Whitney clip, Ryan was talking about his weekend before recording started. That's what people
so
that's what people don't understand about that clip is that Ryan Whitney was talking about his weekend before that. I don't watch hockey. Like hockey, I just didn't grow up playing. I like it. I like to watch it when it's on. I like to watch the playoffs. I don't follow it intrinsically. So I had no real hockey questions. I also didn't know that I'd ever be panned to in that situation. So
they keep you on your toes. You never know. So
I was just like, because he was talking about how he had some crazy thing happen that weekend. So I was like, how was your Saturday? And then he's like, what?
It was one of the more underrated LOL moments that we've had together, I think, just because it was such a blindside.
Yeah.
It was just like the casual Ryan Whitney, awesome interview, funny. And then go, how was your Saturday? It was great. And then another one, and I've held myself back, is the Jack Nicklaus thing is probably the most I've ever laughed.
Oh, but you no pronunciation. I'm just.
Well, you don't need to know pronunciation to know he's one of the, if not the best golfers of all time.
Pronounce. Who is the quarterback that played Joe Namath in Super Bowl III?
Was it Bart Starr? I don't know. I actually don't know. It's either Earl Morrall or Earl Morale.
See? It's an old name.
But Earl, whatever his name is not the best quarterback to ever play the game. I thought it was
Johnny Unitas who played in Super Bowl III against. I thought it was the Colts versus Jets. Yeah.
Oh, he was replaced. Yeah. Earl started it, and then he threw 3 picks and was replaced by Johnny Unitas.
So, yeah, I don't know, Jack. It's also spelled differently. It's like, why isn't his name actually Nicholas?
I don't know. A lot of people have names that
it's spelled Nicklaus.
Yeah, but a lot of things are spelled different. It's just
that one didn't make sense at all to anybody.
It was so funny. And there's been multiple times on these PGA broadcasts where his name comes up, and I have to hold back a lot because I want to throw in the little Easter egg for the AWLs, but to the golf viewers and the demographic, I would lose all of my credibility instantly.
That's so hard. Maybe if you're on a golf, would you drop one right now for a clip?
I would do it on a social media video.
That would be hilarious. It would be great for interactions.
Yeah, it would be, but it would also be bad for my career.
Yeah, that's now you're in the big leagues.
Yeah, we had the conversation. Hank asked me on my last episode if I'm going to change my Twitter name. Right now, I'm not, but we'll play it by ear.
Are you keeping the PNT Sports Biz?
I am, which is very nice of them because obviously I inherited that. I built it up a lot over the last 5 years. That was your OG
my
intern
account.
And I had to delete so many tweets from there.
I mean, what were some?
Because it's my name and my picture. I don't know. I don't remember, but
no, I think I have.
It's just funny.
I have a couple of them. If Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un had a sumo wrestling match, who would win? There were some crazy tweets from when I was 18.
And it's my name and my face.
And also it was Papa John is actually the shadow commissioner of the NFL.
Yeah.
Or no,
Yeah,
another one.
it was.
What was another one? I think I had one where like we should make ISIS and the cartel fight because that that would be the best way to get rid of both of them.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna delete this one right now. I really don't understand why we don't trick criminal organizations into hating each other. Like, let's tell MS-13 that ISIS thinks they are whack with my name and my face.
Did you just Google that?
See ya.
Did you just find that?
Well, I did from PMT Sports Biz ISIS. Because
there's actually a lot. Actually, now that you're going into this, I should tell you all the crazy tweets. Look up
Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un just sumo wrestle from Jake Marsh.
I'm going to tell you all the tweets you need to delete because I'm remembering them now. There's another one that's problematic. Look up Michael Phelps wacky tobacco.
The shark will beat Michael Phelps because the shark has better work ethic because spelled wrong. It didn't smoke wacky tobacco. What's wacky tobacco?
Because remember when the shark raced Michael Phelps back in 2017? Yeah. So I was like, the shark's going to win because Michael Phelps smokes weed. Actually, there's way more. Look up OJ Simpson.
I need to just delete all of these.
Well, I'm going to tell you all the ones I can remember so you can get them done now before they come up at later times.
I don't see anything with Simpson. I must have deleted it. Must have just been because I deleted a bunch when I first got the account.
Just OJ and Kardashian.
I don't see anything.
I think no, there's one where I talk about OJ Simpson getting out of prison and then just joining the Kardashians.
I must have deleted it.
I'm trying to think if there's any other ones that you should know about.
So was it just that first summer where you had it?
That was crazy in itself.
Yeah. But no, I'm fortunate that they've let me hold on to that. Obviously, as you know, still having a massive platform after moving on from the show helps our lives tremendously.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what exactly. I'm really enjoying what I'm doing now.
Yeah, how's everything with
Audio
you?
Crack is fun. It's like I sort of can have on whoever I want. Like, remember when I used to remember when I was trying to get Zach Bryan on like 5 years ago?
Yeah, I remember you were on his stage like at a smaller concert, and that was like right before he like blew up.
Yeah,
right?
So like I was like, yo, so like now I can get people before they blow up, which like I don't think I'm like some master talent person, but not just like music wise. Oh, I'm trying to get Gavin Adcock on here.
I have no idea who that is.
You will. But
okay.
It's just awesome because you just talk to interesting people, and having your own podcast, there's a lot of work that goes into it that production wise, when you're looking for booking interviews, I should not have made this twice a week. I just got into it as fast as I could because I just wanted to start something because idle hands or lazy hands, I don't know what the expression is, but just trying to get something going. And doing an interview show twice a week, like it's hard to start a podcast with one person. Except the only guy who's able to do it is Bill Burr. And on such a
nice.
Well, he does like rants by himself.
Well, yeah, I remember he always just texts Big Cat randomly like about sports things out of nowhere. Yeah.
And it's almost like, I had to basically start a podcast within 2 days and just figure out how to do that. Like, and you can't just be like, yo, will you be my co-host? And like try to look for a good co-host like within 2 days. And just like, so I just did it off the rip. Honestly, maybe having one of my first interviews being George Santos wasn't the best move. Like some people are like, is this like a political podcast? I'm like, no, I'm just talking to anyone who would listen. Just like do cool
but
stuff.
How long you've been doing it for what? Like 3 months now?
Yeah, I've been doing it for 3 months. We've gotten a lot of shit done. Honestly, everyone seems to like it in the comments. Like no one's like, this is an absolutely terrible podcast. Like gave it a listen. This is terrible. Like it's a fun time. You just talk about random stuff, whatever's new on the news. Like, do you know that like RFK Jr left a dead bear in Central Park?
I did not know that.
He literally was just like RFK Jr. running for president. He just admitted to like in the 90s or early 2000s leaving a dead bear in Central Park. And everyone was like, where the fuck did this bear come from? And it's just like straight up just RFK Jr. just drove it down from upstate because he found it on the side of the road. Like that's just like wild.
That type of stuff's right up your alley.
I know. I can't wait till football starts so I can start talking about football. You playing the new NCAA, new college football?
I have not yet. No, I've been on the road. I've been all over the place. So I'm definitely going to, though. Been tuned into some Coach Doug streams. Obviously, that's a little nostalgic. Yeah. Right when I became full-time is when Doug's was picking up some steam in 2020. So it's cool to see Big Cat back on the sticks.
Thing is, there's so many sweats in that game that I played twice and I just keep getting killed. I can put up a couple good plays.
It's hard,
yeah,
right?
Well, I actually like it because the passing game is more realistic. The run game isn't as realistic, which is kind of nice because it allows for more scoring, but defense is just impossible.
Another memory that just popped up is the guys. It was the first grit week that we were both on. I want to say 2021. The guys went to record a music video or something in a studio, and you and I had the night to ourselves in Buffalo, and we went to a bar. Then they asked us the next day, "What'd you guys talk about?" And I was just like, "Life goals."
And they're like, "What? You guys can't be talking about life goals? That's crazy."
Yeah, and Big Cat projected what the conversation was about when it came to that, and we were like, "Yeah, it's spot on." They just know us so well.
Yeah,
that was fun.
Crazy. I mean, now it's they have a chill week now.
They just added it. Yeah, they went to Lake Tahoe. This was right after I left, but they got some great interviews there. I want to say eight there, and some big names. I saw they just dropped a video caddying for Blake Griffin. Speaking of bears, he was taking a piss right next to a bear on a tree in Lake Tahoe.
At least you know it's a black bear. Grizzly bears don't climb trees. But
there you go. Man, I'm learning a lot on this appearance.
I've interviewed the craziest people. I interviewed this dude that's sailing around the world by himself.
How is that possible?
He literally just is in a sailboat and he just sails. And he's got solar panels and he TikToks about it. It's actually sick. He's just by himself. He's yeah, I could absolutely die in a random storm, but we ballin'. It's the craziest thing ever. And then I had another guy who knows where the Malaysian flight went. The Malaysian flight that disappeared? Interviewed a guy who has video evidence that UFOs abducted it midair. And the U.S. government's hiding the plane.
So it sounds like I'm a different type of guest than the ones you've had on.
Yes, but do interview a lot of Barstool personalities and people. They're always down to come on. I should have just made it interview once a week until I figured out what to do, because there's it's hard to do 2 shows a week and book guests. It goes to show just how crazy something and how much work something like Part of My Take takes, because they would do sometimes 4 interviews a week, put out 4 interviews a week, and it's just
I mean, think about Tahoe. They banked probably 8 of them in a 3-day span. So I think a lot of people think podcast, you step up to the mic, hit record, and release it. No,
it's not easy.
A lot more than that.
I mean,
a lot more than that. And when they started, it was just the 2 of them and Hank, and now it's an 8-person operation with Max, Memes, Evan, Shane, and the new intern.
Did you meet Huey?
I did not meet him. I've talked to him a little bit over text.
He texted you?
But I think he's doing a great job. I texted him to congratulate him once he first got it. But yeah, he's great. He's a funny guy. And I'm excited to see what happens with the crew when football season rolls around, obviously prime time. I want to say 25. He might be around your age. I'm not sure. Yeah. Have you talked to him at all?
If you wanted to hit me up, Huey, hit me up if you want. I don't know if I'll give you.
I'm sure there's a lot of AWLs listening to this. Let us know if there's any other nostalgic me and Billy stories that you can think of. The scooter ride.
That was fun.
We saw Coach O.
Yeah, so did I tell you the story?
Venice Beach.
Did I tell you the story? So we saw Coach O, right? So I was actually there the other weekend for a wedding. And I actually did that with someone else because I thought it was a great date idea. So, yeah.
Oh, really?
And that's where I saw Coach Dan Hurley sitting outside.
Oh, no. Billy, you screwed that up.
I know I screwed that up, but he told me he was going to the Lakers. So I guess, and you know this more than me about basketball coaches, right? he went to like meet to like help with negotiations with UConn. So part of, he's actually on record being like, there's people passing on bicycles being like, coach, are you going? And I think like his agent was with him, and what they were doing is, and his sons were with him. They were just trying to get visibility on him. So like it would get to the atmosphere like, oh, he might take the Lakers job, because like everyone knew he was going to stay at UConn, but like they had to scare him enough to make UConn give him, a bigger extension, or however the money works on that. And then he's like, I'm taking it. He just like nods at me, and I'm just like, dude, I was used to spread the he's going to the Lakers news to like get him a new contract, which I respect, but like maybe you should have given me a cut.
Yeah.
Give me a little cut.
You just got to be careful of the scoop game. It's
dangerous, because literally I thought I had the source right in front of me, and I was like, yo, Dan Hurley, what's up? And his sons were like, Billy, what's up? I was like, you going to the Lakers, dude? And he was like, yeah, man. I was like, fuck. I would be lying if I said I wasn't going to tell anybody. And he just fucking played me. I'd love to hear his side of the story on that. But his son was nodding.
I'm sure he'll go on PMT, and
it was the wildest thing.
Yeah, I'm sorry that didn't break your way.
But imagine if it did.
If it did, it would have been awesome for you.
I literally thought I had this.
But selfishly, as a guy who loves college hoops, I'm glad he's sticking in the game.
That was wild. I mean, do you think the Wampus cat bet was the craziest thing you did on Part of My Take?
There were actually 3 things that come to mind that were really outside of my comfort zone during my time there. That was one of them. And that one, I don't know how I got dragged into that, because I was just sitting in the room. PFT's like, Jake, you'll do it with me. All right, Jake's doing it with me. I'm like, what? And we went to that game with Frank the Tank, and they lost, and I put it in. What was it, 5 pouches or something?
I was so surprised you did that.
Yeah, it was.
Did you get the spins?
I mean, not really. I just felt dizzy and lightheaded.
Was it real tobacco? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. That was one thing that I was like, whoa, I never would have done this before. Number 2 was dressing up as the hot mom for the Part of My Cheesesteak commercial.
That was wild.
That was about this time last year. And the backstory with that one is that wasn't supposed to be me. It was supposed to be Brandon Walker, but he got sick. So Corey Rutledge, one of the very talented producers at Barstool, he called me. He's like, last minute, I need you. Like, we have to do this. I'm like, I'll do it for the team.
Brandon Walker was supposed to be the hot mom, and he bailed. That might have been a strategic bail.
He got sick. But that was another thing where I was like, whoa, I would never do this. But it got me out of my comfort zone. And the last thing was PFT and I went down to DC for the Capitals-Panthers game. We sat behind the bench, and we had the boob bet. Remember the boobs? Yeah. There was like those fake, like, I don't even know what they were.
I think they're like Nicky. They're like Pat and Joey's. Did security find you?
Security took them as we were going inside. So they just confiscated it before the game started. But PFT bought a bra, or the top of a bathing suit. And we just did that instead. But going shirtless with that in the first row of a hockey playoff game where we were going to be on TV, that is not something I would ever consider doing. But I'm proud of myself for stepping out of my comfort zone and little things like that. And I think it'll help in the future. Just if I ever feel like I'm in a pickle with something, like I can always tell myself I've dealt with more awkward or more uncomfortable situations. And that's why I have to thank those guys, as silly as it sounds, because like you don't want to be comfortable. In order to get where you want to get in life, you have to deal with uncomfortable situations. And those guys put me through it, but for the better, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree with you. A lot of this stuff, the nerves, the anxiety you get, sometimes you can be like, I got on, I was showing, I always be like, whenever I'm like freaked out about something, I'm like, yo, dude, you stepped in the room with Jose Canseco. you can do this. But like, this is,
I still can't believe you
this
did
is
that.
for like everyday things. It's like, fuck, I gotta like talk to the person at the DMV and they're pissed and I'm like trying to be nice. So like, they don't send me to the back of the line and I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna have to like,
You've dealt with more difficult things before.
It was, an amazing job, great time. It unlocked opportunities that never would have had otherwise. But it did teach me, like I do think that even though we weren't the best content creators on that show, I think it taught us to like work and create.
Go with the flow.
And like, I'm putting this out twice a week and like, I feel like, it's a lot of content. We're putting out a lot of content, but that was just what we were doing every week, working with those guys. And you sort of can't even, they just won't stop working. They're workhorses to a different degree.
Absolutely. And they're amazing. And even the part of my take stuff, putting us outside of our comfort zone. And as it relates to broadcasting, calling those games with Dave and Big Cat, I'm never going to work with a broadcast partner like them ever again, because they can blurt out whatever's on their mind. And that helps keep me on my toes. And no matter who I'm paired with for the rest of my life, there's no way they're more of a curveball than what those guys were, as entertaining as they were. It's just, you never knew what they were going to say and you have to bounce off of them well. And I'm proud of how those games went. So I think the Barstool and PMT journey, it really just threw you curveballs that you didn't expect to happen, but you have to just keep going. You can't just stop.
Hypothetically, let's say 20 or 30 years, you're doing Sunday Night Football and you're with a retired NFL player at that time, let's say like Justin Herbert or probably Jared Goff. He'd probably be best in the booth.
Yeah, I can see him. I can see Josh Allen being good at it.
Do you think
you got a good personality?
I'm putting you there. They're probably going to ask you about part of my take in the booth.
I don't know about on the broadcast. Probably
that guy's been in a lot of difficult positions, right, Mr. Positions?
Probably like the night before as we're getting dinner, but I don't think he's going to ask me on the air during an NFL game.
You're definitely going to slip in remarks because there's going to be so many AWLs even in 30, 40 years. You remember it. I mean, the metrics of how many people, I didn't even realize back in when I first started how many people listen to that show. And I still the expanse of it is insane. And you know what, to anybody who's listening and feels like this is just turning into like a group therapy session for the Green Couch Boys, but it was such an amazing ride that, all good things have to come to an end, but I don't think Pardon My Take ever will. I don't see them stop doing Pardon My Take.
I mean, those guys, I remember they said it a few months ago, I think, imagine not talking about Sunday football with the boys.
Dude, they're going to be in a nursing home. This is just for theatrics and humor.
Don't call them old again, Billy. Remember you got in trouble for that a few years ago. You said Big Cat and PFT are getting old.
Dude, I don't know. I was just like, they're getting old. Dude, I don't, but hypothetically, they're like the nursing home attendants, and this is in 100 years, we'll be taking their mics away so they don't talk to each other. They're like, stop it. You can't do they're gonna be like, no, you'll never take our mics away.
I think no matter what, we can always expect the fastest 2 minutes Monday mornings between September and February.
I don't see them ever stopping. Their energy is unmatched. But
yep, they're the best.
And Hank is a fucking workhorse in itself, and he does not get enough flowers.
Yeah, I mean they make fun of him for playing too much golf, but Hank behind the scenes, especially during the early years before we were even there, obviously, it was just him. I remember, and I said this on my last show, we would be there until 1 or 2 a.m. Sunday nights, go back in the office, and Hank's just sleeping on the green couch because he was editing until 7 a.m. or whatever. That, and him doing that, him and Liam doing all of that by themselves for the first 2 years, that is a job that they deserve a lot of credit.
I almost get Liam in on this pod right now. We should do a reunion. But
I'm sure there will be an official one day.
I mean,
but yeah,
I mean, it's just if just to be a part of it is just a blessing because it was just awesome.
100%. Very, very thankful and very lucky to be a part of it. And no matter what, we'll always have those memories that we discussed today.
What did they really think about me running for Congress behind the scenes? Were they just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, it was just comedy. It was great. It was like seeing Billy on the news is hilarious, and just knowing you for who you are, and then you're getting into super serious suit and tie Billy mode. It was just a great contrast.
I mean, I had to try to do a straight. I had to, sometimes like, who's the guy in Dumb and Dumber who's,
you're asking the wrong person.
The second guy, Jeff Goldblum, but the one who's not Jim Carrey, but he's not Jeff Goldblum. But he's on Broadway right now being Atticus Finch in a Broadway play, Jeff Daniels. So Jeff Daniels did Dumb and Dumber, but now he's on Broadway doing Atticus Finch, and he's like doing To Kill a Mockingbird, and he's like super serious, and it's just like how people got range, Yeah,
I mean, that's kind of what I'm trying to do here with showing that I have a light and comedic side with PMT, and then I can, when things come down to it, I can be in the booth and be as professional and polished as possible. But I appreciate how you show that as well in the political world.
I was really running, by the way. A lot of people think it was a joke.
I know you were.
Like,
I didn't think it was a joke. I thought it was great.
Just seeing how it all worked out.
Yeah.
But now Max is getting the brunt. I mean, I think they're taking it a little easy on what's his face, the new guy.
Huey?
Max is still just getting pummeled.
Remember, he joined the middle of the summer. So I think he's a Detroit guy. So once the Lions start getting in these big games, and I'm sure they'll ask for his thoughts. But Max is the best. Max, he's more electric than I was for sure. He's hilarious. He doesn't hold back, and he's a hard worker as well. Those guys, again, I feel like I'm repeating myself from my last show, but Pug, Shane, Memes, and Max, those guys.
How did the Pug name come out?
I don't think I was there for the origin of it, but someone said like we need a nickname for him, and someone just said Pug, but don't quote me on that. But
awesome stuff, Jake. Thank you for joining the show. Do you have any last questions for me?
No, I think that's it. It was great to reminisce. This was a lot of fun, Billy. I hope the AWLs enjoy it. Let us know. Tag us on Twitter, Instagram if there's any memories that we left off. But I think we hit all the big ones during our time together. The only time I was actually mad at you was when you were shooting me in the face with a Nerf gun during the 24-hour grit stream.
That was actually, I apologize. We were a little stir crazy.
Oh, we were all over the place. So we just reached the boiling point of get us out of this room.
And what else?
But that was fun.
Oh my God. Also, I mean, paintball, our last stand.
I don't even want to talk about it.
I'm just good.
Surrender.
That was fun.
For you. And I don't know. You took it a little too seriously.
What?
But it ends up being a funny
we were
video.
Just shooting each other. It's like
I did not like paintball for obvious reasons.
I think you did decently well.
I was like the first one out every time.
You got Hank that one time.
That's what I was just talking about.
Hey,
the surrender situation.
That might, I was being an asshole that day, but that might have taken the cake.
Yeah, that was a dark time.
Oh my God, no, that was hilarious. Well, Jake, thanks for coming on. I hope everyone enjoyed. Please follow Jake on whatever he's announcing on. Hopefully a lot of AWLs are returning. Probably never listened to Audio Crack, but are checking it out just because, they want some behind the scenes stuff. Check out some other episodes. I really, check out the MH370 flight episode. Check out, our episode with Sailing Songbird. We got a lot more cool guests coming on. Trying to do something cool. I enjoy it. I won't stop doing it. We hopefully next time you listen, we'll have a sponsor. Big stuff in the works. That will be huge for the program.
Plug God, future plug God.
I cannot wait to plug this new product. I'm telling you that right now. Nicky Quinn used to run the Pardon My Talk account.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah, go for it, Nick.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk to Jake? Oh, absolutely.
Hey, Jake, Nicky JV, Nicky Quinn from the Audio Crack podcast. You've done play-by-play for golf, football, hockey, and basketball. Is baseball the last frontier you're trying to conquer, or are you going to leave that to Joe Buck?
That's a good question. It really is the only sport I haven't done outside of the very niche ones, but I would love to do baseball one day. I think the schedule of it's a grind, like I want to try to be as versatile as possible and try to get my feet wet in as many sports as possible. Baseball is just head down 6 months, but I would love to give it a shot. I'm a lifelong Yankee fan, so I know they'll have an opening this year after the John Sterling exit. But yeah, I definitely want to try out baseball eventually.
Also, last question, Jake. Do you have any conspiracy theories you believe in?
No, I leave that to you.
I knew you did. All right. Thanks, Jake.
Yeah. All right. Thanks,
Peace.
guys. See ya.
What are Billy Football's top 5 favorite Zach Bryan songs?
Oh, shit. That's a very good one. All right. Well, we're doing deep tracks. I love Poems and Closing Times. I love Tishomingo. I love, there's just so many. I love Birmingham. Crooked Teeth. And then I love his new stuff too. So I'll throw one in, Oak Island. So those, I don't know if those are my top 5 though. That was just off the dome, but I'm trying to think if I'm missing any. Poems and Closing Time. Actually, no, wait. There's one more off American Heartbreak that I'm just going to throw in as a bonus. Honorable mention because I think Sober Side of Sorry. Absolutely.
What was Billy Football's pregame playlist driving to? Because I know your like football games in high school were a little different. You had to travel a decent amount of time. What was a 2016 playlist like for Billy Football getting hyped for a game, thinking he was going D1, thinking he was going to be SEC quarterback?
I think I have it. It was called Fall Ballin'. It's on my Spotify. Just Got Paid, ZZ Top. Woodstock by Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Swamp Music, Old English, Jordan Belfort. And then we had, this is actually, we have way more. Forever by Drake, Kanye West. I Can't Stop, Flux Pavilion. Right above it, Lil Wayne. The Devil Is a Lie, Rick Ross. John by Lil Wayne, Rick Ross. Off the Leash, Gucci Mane. Over by Drake. Marshall Mathers, Not Afraid. Amityville, When the Music Stops. Evil Deeds. Fuck Up Some Commas. How You Remind Me, Nickelback. Kashmir, Led Zeppelin. In Paris, Jay-Z. Ham by Kanye West and Jay-Z. Civil War, Guns N' Roses. I'm Not a Star, Rick Ross. Back to Back, Drake.
A follow-up to the Zach Bryan question. What do you think of Dave's singing Revival on stage with Zach Bryan? Do you think he did a good job?
Yeah, I think he did a decent job. You can tell, he spent a lot of time memorizing the words so he'd know, which kind of was like, I'm not saying a fake fan, but definitely he's probably a fan of Zach's, but I don't think he's a fan. He definitely doesn't know the deep cuts. Please like and subscribe. And we're going to go to the outro, and tell me if you like the new outro song. It's new and I think it's a cool song. Thanks guys. Peace.
Bright lights, or the women who won't be my wife. He told me, Sonny, leave them vices on the shelf. Oh, but the dog's in the dive with a silver bullet, and if a keg's alive, I'm singing, hey man, pull it, till the barkeep started calling me the sink. Save my soul. Ever since I first turned 17, it's girls, guitar, cigars, and one more drink. Daddy wound up in the ground, yeah, and I guess that might be a where I'm bound, with the rail shots and the jukebox and the ladies with flirtatious talk. I guess I had to go and find out for myself. And now the dog's in the dive with a silver bullet, and if a keg's alive, I'm singing, hey man, pull it, till the barkeep started calling me the sink. Oh hell no. Ever since I first turned 17, it's girls, guitar, cigars, and one more drink. Eve bit the apple and I hit the town. I should have listened to my daddy, but it's too late now. Because the dog's in the dive with a silver bullet, and if a keg's alive, I'm singing, hey man, pull it, till the barkeep started calling me the sink. Overflow. Ever since I first turned 17, it's girls, guitar, cigars, and one more drink. And that's a family tradition, don't you think?